The Times reports that Charles is more than disappointed at the policy, and while it cited unnamed sources, a spokesperson for the prince didn't deny that he was privately opposed, only saying that the heir to the throne remains politically neutral in matters of policy or decisions for the government.
So folks, for the first time, Prince Charles, now King Charles, this past summer in front of Emmanuel Macron at a presidential dinner, finally expressed regret and concern for the immigration policies of the British government. But in the past, we see these headlines, folks, very, very different. Look at this. Look at this. We don't have to read it. We don't have to say it out loud. Prince Charles was all over the place, looking out for immigrants, illegal immigrants. And, he had compassion. He had sympathy. I'll give him that. But now he regrets it. And so was he right or was he wrong? He was supporting refugees who were coming in. There were 45,000 boat refugees in 2023. Folks, we saw what Tommy Robinson had to talk about at the Unite the Right rally. Prince Charles was all over the place. He was basically encouraging illegal immigrants. He may have been part of the reason for the migrant crisis. Look at these headlines, folks. Refugees need to feel more welcome in Britain. I mean, this is very nice, okay, but he really crossed the line from sympathetic royal to policy-affecting politician. I mean, the numbers just went up, and now Britain is experiencing a full-blown crisis. It's out of control, and the proof is in the pudding. Prince Charles, now King Charles himself, said such at a state dinner alongside Emmanuel Macron. Check it out here.
Our armed forces will cooperate even more closely across the world, including to support Ukraine, as we join together in leading a coalition of the willing in defense of liberty and freedom from oppression. In other words, in defense of our shared values. Our technology experts will also collaborate even more deeply to determine how we harness artificial intelligence for the good. Our diplomats will work together to defend the international rule of law and the multilateral system. Our security services and police will go further still to protect us against the profound challenges of terrorism, organized crime, cyber attacks, and, of course, irregular migration across the English Channel. And our businesses will innovate together, generating growth, trade and investment for our economies and across the world. And crucially, our conservationists, our governments and our private sectors will work as one to tackle deforestation, protect nature and preserve our oceans, issues for which you and I share a particular concern, Monsieur le Président. When I spoke at the French Senate in 2023, I called this an entente pour la durabilité. On that visit, we jointly launched the International Panel for Biodiversity Credits, a project which has the potential to transform the way in which the market can protect and restore nature by mobilizing capital and incentivizing conservation. I know you believe in the importance of that as much as I do. In ways like this and many others, I believe at this crucial moment at which the very future of our planet hangs in the balance, the UK and France have a critical role to play together. In this respect, I hope I can offer my warmest congratulations on your leadership in hosting such a significant Ocean Summit in Nice last month. Ainsi, avec espoir et fierté, je célèbre ici et avec vous un partenariat véritablement moderne.
Contemporary partnership between our
More than 4,500 people have arrived on small boats, with that number topping 28,000 people in all of last year. Now, the charities challenging this policy believe it will encourage an even bigger number of people to consider a more treacherous channel crossing to avoid being intercepted by border officials.
The only way that they can do that is using a people smuggler. So it's actually doing the opposite. It is pushing the people smugglers' prices up and making the journeys more dangerous.
Folks, this was a lesson in what to say and what not to say in politics. You know, when a monarch speaks, it carries weight. And even though King Charles and the royal family do not have direct political power, they have a lot of sway and influence, of course. And well, let's go back to 2022. We just showed you the clip. While he was Prince of Wales, Prince Charles described the UK government's plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda as, quote, appalling. Folks, he wasn't supposed to comment on that, okay? He's not a political commentator and he's not a politician. Now, it wasn't an official statement, but those reports came out. And believe you me, that man knows what reports will come out and what will stay in-house, and that one went out. Those reports made headlines across the political spectrum. And yes, supporters praised his empathy. They said the royal family should stand for humanity. But let's be honest, folks, it blurred the boundary between monarchy and policy. And you know what? He ended up regretting that statement, because we saw the video of him talking in front of Macron. And by the way, it wasn't just then in 2022, okay? It was a few other times. And the worst part is, what was happening while he was saying this appalling action by the British government? While he was saying that, do you know what was happening, folks? According to the Home Office data, over 45,000 people crossed the English Channel in small boats in 2022. That was an all-time record. Now, in 2023, that number dropped to around 30,000. However, the cost of managing the crisis reached over £3 billion per year, which, by the way, includes temporary accommodation paid for by the British taxpayer. And so King Charles, his words, whether past or present, definitely cost British society and the British taxpayer a lot. And now the final takeaway here is that we saw what happened in 2005. In 2025 at the banquet in Paris, he had a totally different tone. Speaking next to French President Emmanuel Macron, he called migration one of the profound challenges of our time. Folks, there you have it. That's called regret. Yes, this was worded very carefully, but this is the first time he acknowledged, I would say, some form of blame or understanding the scale of the issue, right? This is the first time he's coming out and saying, oops, what a mistake we made. You know, it's not quite as bad as Germany. Germany's finished, okay? They let in millions of illegal immigrants over the years. They're toast. Italy's on its way. France is done. Britain still has hope. And the only person protecting Britain right now is Tommy Robinson. King Charles, when he was prince, did enough damage. Now that he's king, I think he understands this story a little bit better. And he's come around finally. And there's a lot more that he can do. But folks, it's not looking good for Britain.